And to put into perspective what expectations are from this session, we have with us Ashok Tandon, senior journalist, who's joining us. Thank you, Mr. Tandon. So, an 18-hour-long discussion on Operation Sindoor is being put together by the Business Advisory Committee. What does this indicate about the Treasury's willingness to discuss national security issues? Sir, did you hear me? Can you hear me, sir? Yeah, can you hear me, sir? Let me repeat my question. In an 18-hour-long discussion on Operation Sindoor, what does it show that about the Treasury's willingness to discuss national security issues?
Of course, before the opposition could put forward their demand for a discussion, the government so moto announced that they have earmarked 16 hours for a debate on these issues, including Operation Sindoor, and that meets the opposition demand because this will also include the Pahalgam terror attack. So I think there was no point for the opposition to disrupt the proceedings of the House when the government itself has agreed to discussion. But the only thing was the timing of the discussion which the government has agreed, because the Prime Minister will be on a foreign tour from 23rd to 26th. So obviously the discussion would take place next week. I think the opposition was not satisfied, so they were interrupting the proceedings of the House, and that's why the House had to be adjourned 3-4 times. So, but I think still the government could make a point that they are willing to discuss all the issues on the floor of the House, but under rules, not under pressure from the opposition or from the opposition disruption.
Indeed.
I think opposition wanted immediate discussion. So that was the only difference. But the government scored a point by agreeing to a 16-hour discussion on Operation Sindoor and the Pahalgam terrorist attack.
Mr. Tandon, also, will the introduction of major bills like the income tax bill as well as, several other bills deliver a proper debate and scrutiny in the House, given the kind of disruptions that we are seeing?
Yes, the government has, made it intention clear that they propose to table 7 pending bills that have been listed for consideration in passing, while 8 new bills have been listed for introduction, consideration and passing. And I can give the list. But today, Rajya Sabha could transact a business, and they did pass at least one piece of legislation. But I think the hallmark of today's proceedings was the customary speech, if I may say so, but it was an interaction with the media outside Parliament House. And also, the Prime Minister held a very high-level meeting with his senior colleagues, ministers, and they discussed the proceedings in the House in the coming days. So the PM was taking note of how the House is to be conducted, what the government plans are, and how to meet the opposition challenge. So Prime Minister today was available in both in Lok Sabha, especially during the obituary reference time, and after the opposition, stalled or tried to stall the question hour. I think in a day one belongs to the government. They scored a point by announcing 16-hour discussion and the Rajya Sabha, clearing one interesting piece of legislation.
So you did mention the Prime Minister being going abroad this week. But should the Parliament then reaffirm India's stance for a long period of time that India has this multi-partisan approach to foreign policy? Everyone should be on the same page. Are we seeing that? I mean, if Parliament is being disrupted over the Prime Minister visiting a foreign country, it doesn't make any, it clearly doesn't show that the opposition is standing with the government on foreign policy.
No, I think the only point which opposition was trying to make was that if it was known that the Prime Minister would be visiting 2 foreign countries, particularly the UK, to sign the FTA, and also Maldives to be the chief guest for their annual day and the celebration. But I think these are things which are not decided, because the Parliament session, particularly the monsoon session dates, are known much before these 2 visits were planned. So opposition can't blame the Prime Minister. So these are equally important international commitments which the Prime Minister has to meet. So I think the opposition can wait for 2 to 3 days or maybe for this particular week. And then the Prime Minister, the Treasury benches and the Parliamentary Affairs Minister has assured the House that the Prime Minister will be responding to all the points which the opposition will be raising concerning these particular two discussions. So I think the point the opposition was trying to make was that they should have been taken into confidence whether the Prime Minister was visiting, and the session could have been adjusted accordingly. But the session dates are decided much in advance. So therefore, that point also, I don't think the opposition can really, score a point on this issue.
Sure. Mr. Tandon, also, do you see that this issue of special intensive revision, SIR, of the voter roll in Bihar, should it be discussed in Parliament, or is the proper institution the Election Commission for this?
No, in fact, the government has announced and assured the House that they are willing to discuss any issue, provided the issue is raised within the provisions
the rules,
or the rules of the procedures. So the opposition has plenty of points. Like they can call a calling attention motion. They can even raise a short duration discussion. And some of the members even might have put questions regarding the revision in Bihar. So it's not that the government is backing out of this discussion, but the question is, all the discussions in both houses of Parliament, they have to be under certain rules of procedure. It cannot be just shouting brigade, asking for some discussion, and then not allowing the House to function. So the very valuable time of the House is wasted in this disruption which we witnessed today in both houses of Parliament. And that's very unfortunate. When the forum is available for discussion, everything can be discussed on the floor of the House. Then why disruption? Why waste time of the House? And also it involves a lot of expenditure also in running the House. And some statistics will be available. One day proceedings, how much, loss of money in terms of money is there. So I think the prudent way for the opposition would have been to, give notice for discussion on any issue under the rules of procedure, rather than shouting and demanding immediate discussion on anything, etc.
So apart from all the issues being raised by the opposition parties, there would also be legislative agenda of the government. How do you see this session proceeding in terms of the government getting its way in terms of all these bills? There have been 7 pending bills, you said, also 8 new bills that are going to be introduced.
Generally speaking, monsoon session is for conducting the legislative business of the government. And that, I think the government will be able to do it, even if there are disruptions for, say, another couple of days. Even then, in the last week or so, as we have seen in the previous session, the government can transact that business and get the legislation passed. So I don't think the government has anything to worry, because they have a majority in both houses of Parliament. So they have nothing to worry about it. But the only thing is that to satisfy the opposition demand for discussion, today the government so more to agree, and that, I think, literally silenced the opposition today.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Ashok Tandon, senior journalist, for putting all that into perspective as the monsoon session of Parliament has commenced.